My cover of Time After Time was used in Love Island in the Netherlands. The Show Must Go On was used in Dancing with the Stars in Finland. I kind of don't know where to start. I don't know who to contact. I feel like I kind of need to get what's entitled to me. The idea of getting signed by a label was always so sparkly. But I've heard a lot of stories where people are unhappy on labels.
Hey guys, so I did a consultation with Corvyx. Corvyx is a singer, an independent artist, and someone who has built a sustainable music career based on doing principally cover songs. Now, the cover songs are real good, but the proof's in the pudding. Corvyx has had all kinds of virality, not just YouTube, but TikTok and other social media platforms. And in today's video, shares a lot about being an independent artist, and we're gonna discuss, do you want to sign with a record label? Should you sign with a record label? What are the best ways to monetize your music? We go through it all. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Now let's jump into the consultation.
Let me ask you, why do you do cover songs?
I genuinely enjoy it. For me, it's a mechanism as well as a way to show what I can do. And I think I've really branded myself and I have a specific sound. Although I've done a majority of covers, I think people have learned to associate me with my own sound. But the covers are really a mechanism to grow. When I release original music, I want an audience to release it to. And I felt like the covers gave me that. They gave me an audience that I can actually release original music to, that are eager to hear original music. But at the end of the day, I really do enjoy making covers. Yeah. I'm a fan of music. Although I'm an artist, I'm a fan first. And it's a cool way for me to kind of explore. There's an irony there because I feel like I found my own artistry and my own sound through doing covers. Moving forward, I really want to get into the sync world on a definitely more serious level. I've created a new sound library moving forward. Really love to get paid, compensated sync placements. So covers, I think, have good potential for that. I think originals do as well, but
oh no, we're still, just so you know, we're still in this era where cover songs are in fact dominating. And it's because TV shows don't want to pay the full price for the actual original. Right. So they find something that's super, super cool, well done, all that kind of thing. So now that leads me to my next question as far as just monetizing, because when you have multimedia, so in this case, lots of songs, it's making money for you. Okay, you have streaming and things like that. But to be a little bit more proactive, for example, is your sync company regularly getting you placements? How often are they getting you something?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So
I've been with them. I've been with them for 2 years. I don't want to fully place it on them. I think that the direction that I'm going in now is perhaps more suitable for sync, just in terms of the production. It's definitely more heavy leaning into the cinematic world than what I was creating. I don't want to place it fully on them, but at the same time, there really hasn't been much.
As independent artists, we tend to have to do all the things ourselves. Do you have, for example, a manager? Do you have an assistant? Do you have someone who helps you?
No. It's okay. One man will back.
That's normally how it goes. And you produce all your stuff, right?
Yes. I'm an editor. I'm a videographer. I edit all my own music videos. I have a home studio set up. So it's...
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I was talking about the music production. You do that too, right?
No, I don't do the actual music production. I have a producer that I've been working with for about a decade. So we've worked together for a long time.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, kudos. I don't know about the video stuff. And that's just literally the perfect example of just someone, if you really want to make your dreams come true, you literally have to make your dreams come true. You find the team, you do everything yourself. And literally that's how I learned music production, is because when I was in my teenage years, I didn't know anybody. No one knew me. No one cared about what I was doing. And so you can't let that stop you. And in your case, right, at some point you're like, you know what? It's probably easier, faster, and then you pick all the shots for the edit that you like of yourself.
Yeah, it allows for creative control for sure, but also it's fun for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy visuals. If I knew how to produce music, it would be game over. It would be game over. I would be able to actually capitalize more on the revenue from my streams.
If you're needing legal help, feel free to reach out to Delgado Entertainment Law, which is my firm. We offer free case evaluations with our case manager. So just meaning you don't have to make any kind of commitment. We'll just see how we can help you. Feel free to call us. You can text, you can email. We look forward to hearing from you.
You know, a lot of it for a long time was me just kind of pouring whatever I was making back into the music. I finally reached a point in my career where I am profiting, which is amazing. I am so grateful that I'm able to do what I love full time, but it's still a lot as an independent artist. It's a lot to wear all of the hats. And this area in particular is something I'm I can do as much as I can in terms of registering my catalog with certain agencies that'll help me, but I'm I can't go to music law school. Like I can't become a lawyer, right? At least with everything that I have going on right now. Also, it's not really of interest to me. I'm happy to learn. And to be honest, like doing all this research, I've kind of been like hungry for it. I'm like, this is fun. Like I'm getting to learn more about what I do. And like it makes me feel like I have more of a voice and more of a say as my own artist. There are things that I simply don't understand and I don't have the years of experience behind it to learn it.
Oh, yeah. No,
So
and also at some point, though, when you do have some revenue coming in, ancillary or otherwise to what you're doing, then you do want to just hire it out because it's just faster. So, for example, when you're doing your covers, you have your producer put together the production, the instrumental, and then do you record at home? Do you go somewhere? Like, what's your process?
I used to live in the same location as my producer, so it used to be a lot of me going back and forth to the studio, but now we figured out a remote setup, so we do
Nice.
production remotely. I record remotely as well. As far as like video production goes, any music videos, anything that I film for my YouTube channel, so I have studios around me that I visit, but anything that's like a talking head thing or a vlogging is right here. As you can see, like I have this set up here.
I will say this, if any singer ever sees this, I think you're an incredible singer, and being able to work remotely and have a process so you could record yourself or doing, for example, things like tuning, like just to be in control of the final product. Because usually, if you've worked with someone for 10 years, you guys have a good working relationship, you all know what's expected. If you're working with all kinds of different producers and you're giving top lines and you're just sending stuff out, you don't know what's going to happen. And
Right.
so being in control of that is it's helpful.
Right. It is. It is for sure. I want to thank you for, first of all, what you're doing on YouTube is amazing because you're obviously a wealth of knowledge and you're providing so much free advice and legal counseling. And I think that's amazing. And it's been super helpful for me. And obviously, having like a personal consultation with you is amazing. But your YouTube channel is helping me a lot, especially within the last week.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, no, you're amazing. So look, let's go back to now just monetizing. So you
Yes.
have a bunch of multimedia, we'll call it, because you have social media stuff, you have music videos on your YouTube, you have lots and lots of cover songs, right? And stuff that you've created. Always keep in mind too, it's not just about you have something that's working. And a piece of that is going to be that there are unauthorized users. So now it's just a matter of dealing with it. And truthfully, it's just coming up with a solution, like maybe working with one of these companies. They take a portion of the profits they get until which time you're like, oh, I'm doing this all the time. Now it makes sense maybe that I will just have my team reach out. I'll pay someone on hourly. So just know that at some point you can always pivot. There's different ways to do this. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, just going and starting the conversation because you just need to information gather. That's the bottom line. One, coming up for a process with this. Two, it sounds like you are under monetizing your covers in that just to actively have as many libraries as possible who make sense with your cinematic style of cover songs, which will do so well in trailers, right? All by itself, right? And those are huge placements. So, anyway, I think for you on kind of the grow out of what you should focus on and where you should be is really putting some more time and effort into cultivating these relationships, right? Because I guess let me ask you this. What do you see in the next, I would say 12 to 24 months? What's the goal? If everything went right to what you're hoping for, do you have a growth trajectory? I mean, are you trying to aim for more revenue?
I definitely want to aim for more revenue. I have a Patreon. I have a step-by-step kind of plan and trajectory for each of my platforms. Right now, I'm making a good amount through streaming platforms. I'm happy with where I'm at. Obviously, I want to continue to grow. What I really want is I want at least one major sync placement this year. That has been one of my goals since last year. I just haven't landed it. I feel like the music that I'm creating, I think it's up to par. I think especially the newer music that I'm coming out with, the newer covers, I think they're going to be sought after. And that's why I'm kind of like really trying to get hands on deck here to make sure I know what I'm entitled to. I know what I should be getting compensated for, even though they're covers. Like I said, everything's done in-house. Like I'm creating the productions from scratch. It's my performance. So I know that performance royalties are a thing. And if I own the master sound recording, I feel like there should be something in place.
Yeah, and let me tell you this too. I'm gonna help you manifest because I'm telling you, you're going there. Okay, we're gonna manifest one at some point. You can literally just sell your covers, right? It's about you build the brand big enough, and this could literally be in like 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be next year. It depends on what happens in the meantime. But I've
Mhm.
done these deals where we literally sold a cover artists, right? This was primarily what this artist was doing. Kind of a no name. Some decent streaming numbers, had some really big videos on YouTube, very similar to what you're doing. And it was in the multi-million
Right.
dollars. Like,
Wow.
so the value of your covers and you own them 100% from my understanding.
Yes.
Okay, so good. So please know that's amazing because you are leading up to that and you have market proof because you have lots of big numbers, right? People just like them. You don't have to prove anything because
Right.
the numbers speak for themselves, right? So that's great. And just know that's coming your way. So that brings my next question, which is for a label, whether they've approached you already or they're going to approach you to sign you, that could help and be like, hey, we're going to sign all your covers. We will take ownership of them, but we're going to help you to like monetize and find you these deals. Is that something you're interested in?
What do you mean by they would own them?
With a very rare exception, if a label comes and signs you for whatever, we're signing you to be one of our artists, the standard
Sure.
record label deals that they own your music. That's the exchange. They're going to do lots of stuff, but they have ownership of the music. How does that sound to you?
I don't know if I love that. Only because if these were to get placements in sync, right? My catalog were to start popping off in sync and like I was getting placements, the label would make that money, correct?
It would be subject to your deal, and typically the label will pay for everything up front, so they can potentially, right, get you better deals. They could, whatever, if you're trying to manifest touring. So they try to get you something you couldn't get for yourself, and then you guys, pursuant to your contract, you split, right?
Mm.
They pay themselves back from earnings first, and then whatever's left over, you guys split. And, you might get a deal that's super great, like 50-50. It's usually for a bigger label, it's going to be like 15% to you. So they're not the best deal, but if you have Universal knocking on your door, that could sometimes be good as well. So in
Right.
in kind of manifesting where you want to go, the one thing I'll at least plant the seed is that opportunities are going to come to you, not just license, but also buy. And that means they would take ownership of your stuff. And if that's
Right.
not the path that you want to go on, and you don't need to, trust me, I'm a big advocate. If you are doing well independently, you just need to kind of tweak your shit. You need to figure out how to make more money so then you can grow your team and you become your own label. You become your own business enterprise. You don't need
Right.
anybody else. That's always what I'm going to advocate for. But equally, if you're like, no, 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 let's try this path, that's cool too.
It's funny that you bring this up because I always think a label would fix everything for me. But at the same time, there's so many complications, or at least in my head, there are. I'm not saying that this is real, but because I've been independent for so long, I'm like, what happens to my Patreon? What happens to these like crowdfunded things where like I've really built this from the ground up? Like, do they take control over that as well? Do they make the YouTube revenue that I'm making? I have a lot of avenues of income as an independent artist, as you know. It's not coming from one source. I guess there would have to be some answers provided there. Growing up, as a millennial, the idea of getting signed by a label was always so sparkly. That sounds amazing. Like somebody says, I got signed. But I've heard a lot of stories where people are unhappy on labels and they don't feel like it's living up to what they thought it was going to. However, I still think for some reason, and I don't know if it's just the millennial in me, I do feel like I would do really well on a label. If I had resources and all of the resources that I needed and I had help and I could just focus on being the artist, I think I would really blow up. I really do. And I don't mean that in a self-righteous or cocky way at all. I just know I have what it takes. And I know that if I had a team helping me with the stuff that I don't really want to be worrying about, but I have to because I'm independent, I would take off. But I think the reason also why I've done covers for so long is because I know that when I get in the studio, we've got it down to a science now. 2.5 hours, we're done with the production. Another 2 hours, we're done with vocals. But I'm paying all of this out of pocket. This is all hourly. I have to pay my producer. I've gotten nervous that it's not that I don't want to do originals. I do, but I've gotten in the studio where I'm in the studio for 3 hours and we wrote a song that I don't love and I just spent $400 on this song. And I almost feel like I'm forced to release it or I've wasted $400. So this is where I'm like, a label would be amazing because they could say, we want you to make an album, go make this album. And that's where I would feel like, okay, I'm not on a time crunch. Well, I'm on a time crunch in a sense where like I would have to turn around an album in a certain amount of time, but I wouldn't feel like I'm counting the minutes in the studio and I'm like, now I'm $200 in, now I'm $300 in, and I don't even like the song. So there's a lot more when it comes to original production and original
Yeah.
songwriting. With the covers, it's awesome because I have a sound already and I know that it's going to take this amount of time, so I can allot my budget for that. With originals, it's a little scary because I have to go into the studio not knowing.
Yeah.
And
And
that's where a label would be amazing.
it's anxiety producing. I can speak from my experience as well. We all have our different things. For me, I'm like, I'm trying to run a law firm and a podcast and all this stuff. And for me to take 4 hours out for something that might not result in something I can release, it's anxiety producing, right? You said so many great things. I do want to address your kind of question you had. You go, well, what about my Patreon if I do sign with a label? And this is what you do need to keep in mind. Labels still essentially do 360 deals. They don't call them that anymore, but what they do is they take a piece of everything you do in your entertainment career. And so in a recording agreement, they take ownership of your music, and then they'll say for anything you do from acting to different deals where you're getting shares in a company based on your entertainment career, we get a taste of everything. Now, the argument is, well, hopefully they help to make you a big star. All these additional opportunities, sponsorships that come in wouldn't have resulted without the label's effort. Okay, so that's the argument. But the downside is that if you do not negotiate your deal well, they'll come and take a piece of your Patreon. You're like, I built this from scratch, or the merch. I paid for all my merch, and now you're taking a portion of the share. So that goes to your negotiation power, looking at the contract, knowing what the hell you're signing. Record labels are usually good at helping to figure out how to make your music make money. And it's not by like growing you as an artist. They don't care about you, truthfully. They just come in, they're like, you are a business asset. So how could you do this for yourself? How else can I make ancillary income? Because what you said in reading in between the lines is that you need a team. You don't need a label for that. You need some people who you can pay because you don't want to do that shit. That's good. You're in your zone of creativity to then make the art. And so ultimately, if you could build this out so that you could hire people eventually by creating more ancillary income, you'd be in control. You could retain ownership of your music. You could tell people how you want it done because now you're the boss. You don't work for someone else. They work for you. Here's the thing. You should be just making a list of all the things that you could be doing to basically do it one time and then have it make money for you. A course is a great example, but don't do a course if you don't want to do a course. You know what I'm saying? Like the Patreon obviously is something that's making money for you. So what I'm saying is just think about what those things are, because most of the time we haven't considered the stuff we know how to do that potentially we could just teach to someone else in a like 2-hour thing. But if that's not the thing, cool. You got to go back to the list and just kind of push yourself. Because if I was your manager, if I was your label, this is the conversation I'd be having. Be like, hey, you got to go make us money. And so it's up to you to help me come up with a great idea. And now I get to profit off of your wonderful skills. So just think about that. So those are all the things I just want to plant the seed on you, staying independent and the path that you're going to go on and all the benefits that can come. It's the harder path, though. It's the harder path versus, for example, if you're like, you know what, Crystal, I'm kind of curious about maybe some label deals. I'm happy to make an introduction for you. And anytime something major comes across the desk for you, please reach out. Don't sign anything until you talk to me, okay?